What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads, fathers, and male caregivers that is sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that movement since 2020, we've reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. And as we get to the end of 2025, we're speaking in the near future, I'll be able to say it's 500,000. So as always, I'd like to see you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. We're broadcasting live on Saturday, November 15th, halfway through November. The time is flying now. Earlier on in the year, it was like, now it's just flying. People are getting into their holiday mood, whatever that is. I know people are beginning their shopping and their buying, and also how much shopping or buying are you doing during this holiday season? I was speaking with Aisha before we went live, and she said, well, we're making gifts or making our own gifts instead of going out there and buying, being consumers. Maybe that boycott thing is going to get down to it. But you know what? You're not here for me. I know that. You're not here for me. You're here for Aisha K. Staggers, LaLa Key. It's Primetime Saturday with Aisha and LaLa. What is going on, ladies?
I'm not shopping. I'm not doing it. I'm not shopping. I'm part of the boycott.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Full boycott. Not buying any?
No.
Okay.
I think it's easier for me, though. I have to be very honest. My son is grown. I don't have grandchildren. I know a lot of people do, and they have to consider that in their families. But for me, that's not an issue, and it's not a big thing for our family. Being together is the most important thing. And if anybody follows me on my social media, I've been putting tips out every day on how to enjoy this holiday without all the things that you think the holiday is supposed to be.
Going broke.
Right.
Going broke.
Well, you know what, yeah. LaLa, that's where I got my idea from to do, because we haven't been doing gifts since, God, it's been almost 20 years or so right now. Right. And, so, we do like small things. We have a limit. So we'll might be like $20. And so we'll buy like little cute things that we all like, hair conditioner or something, something like that. But this year we decided to kind of make things. So I was telling Dr. Vibe that I got a hat for myself.
Oh, look at that go. That looks awesome.
It's cute.
Yep. And then I got I know my sister's not watching. She just texted me and told me she's not gonna be able to watch. So I know she won't watch the replay either. But I got ones for each of my sisters so that we can take sister pictures together.
Oh, that's cute.
And so like the hats they weren't expensive. I spent $20 on both of them. And so the picture's the more meaningful thing. But you're right. You know what? We don't have kids in our family like that either. And so I have a godson. I'm going to get him something from a black-owned bookstore, and send that to him, or a black toy maker. I'm going to find one. But other than that, that's and my grandniece, I'm going to give her a homemade gift too, because I've got lots of things that she likes. I have makeup that I haven't opened. She's 10 going on 11. I'm going to put her together a little thing that, and let it fly. Other than that,
let it fly.
There we go.
Like you said, it's being together.
So Regina is already in the house. Hello, my family is not buying gifts this year. We have all decided we are donating money to food banks and food pantries where we live. I like that idea. And also, Life of Tor. That's someone I haven't seen here before. Love you show. Now, before we get going, one of the things we always try to do new stuff for our Primetime Saturday. So today on YouTube, we're not only broadcasting landscape, we're also broadcasting vertical. So Regina's watching on her phone, and also Life of Tor is watching on their phone. So there we go. I love that. And I have a few more people watching live out of the gate than usual. So there we go. So we're broadcasting on YouTube, landscape, and portrait. Ladies, what is a that you've had since we last spoke? Because we haven't spoken together for a little while.
Oh, go first, Aisha. I'm always jumping in. You go first.
I've had a lot of defeat this week.
Oh,
Okay. So the one win I will take is that I sent that email to Jill that I said I was going to send. And then sent the wrong thing.
Did you show it wrong?
But I got it right.
But okay, look, our win this week though, at least Aisha, we got another girlfriend's chat recording.
We did, yes, we did. And I edited I've been editing the first one. I have to upload it because I finally finished editing because life happens. And this one, I didn't even need to edit. I went back and listened to it. I'm like, I'm not editing this. I think the only thing I might have edited out was that last part where we talked about some things. I'm like, I don't think that Jill wants this said. I don't think that I want this said. I don't think that LaLa wants this out there. So I'm probably going to go back and take out that little 10-second joke. But other than that.
Oh my. Well, it always brings me joy when I hear that you guys get together to do a girlfriend's chat.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice. It's always fun.
It's nice we can get back to it kind of regularly because we all had stuff.
Well, don't we always? Don't we always? Thank you very much.
Yeah, but we missed each other, so we're like, we got to get back to this.
Absolutely. And LaLa, what's the win that you've had?
This week I was able to train for cinematographic. I can cinematographic AI movie making because I want to learn how to do just make little movies that make people happy that are positive. Like I'm really into trying to put some good things out there. So not necessarily like the AI twins that everybody's doing, but little positive messages, like little characters that make people happy during the day. So I'm working on that.
And so what is the course content comprised of? You don't have to go deep down to it, but what are some of the things they're covering in the course?
Actually, this past one that I took was extremely deep. It wasn't surface. Like most people are doing a lot of surface stuff to just kind of let you hurry up and start working on things. This instructor actually worked for Hollywood for many, many years. So her take was being actually like a director, learning the language that you have to feed into AI, cut to the left, action fixture, action incoming, to teach it, to make it look more like it flows instead of stop action. So this is actually taught by someone who's worked in Hollywood, who stumbled across AI and just kind of picked it up as her hobby and fell in love with it.
Nice.
How did you find out about the course?
Deep dive. I'm in Jonathan Mass group. And he does AI and things like that. It teaches you how to work it in many different angles, not just to build your business, to do strategic plans, do grants, and I just really love how it can help save my day. I've used it a lot to streamline my days so that I have more LaLa time than computer time. It helps me flow a little bit better in my writing because I can really get in my head when it comes to writing. I've got the shiny syndrome thing, and it'll help hone me in a little bit on the emails that I do. But Jonathan Mass group is called AI for Entrepreneurs, and a couple of other people that I absolutely admire are also in that group and doing well on like Substack and other platforms.
Yes, and we shared some communication offline about one of those people. Well, isn't she on point?
She's on point every time. And I'm telling you, after everybody was giving their questions, she comes on with this silky voice. And everybody was like, it was great. It was great.
Good.
It was a 3-day course. So
wow. And how many hours each segment?
2 to 2.5 each day. Most of it was training, and then at least half an hour for questions.
All right. Anything else we need? Anything else we need to chat about before we go to break? Anything else?
Lord, no, we got enough to chat
Well, we
about.
got enough. We got enough. I'm sure, but anything outside of Polly tricks we want?
Well, I just actually want to acknowledge that my sister Azure's birthday is tomorrow, and we still have not gotten justice for her, and her killer still walks free.
Tomorrow,
Actually, go ahead.
is tomorrow's the 16th?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Actually,
goodness.
okay, I have an actually interesting thing for you ladies to give your takes on. So in Toronto here, we have these speed cameras.
Mm.
Mm.
And there was been hot debate over the last number of months up because lots of people are getting tickets for like going 5 miles over, etc. And it got to the point where, yeah, a lot of people
Just 5 miles.
Some people 5 or 7 miles.
I got a ticket for going 36 and a 35 in somewhere backwoods, South Carolina.
Okay. So
wow.
are you pro or not pro speed camera?
I'm not pro speed camera. For one, they're being used for the wrong, and if you think that's just happening in America, think again. These speed cameras are also there to get your information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I put that in there because my friend one of my best friends was telling me that in China they're using it. So if you they have all of your identity, everything's attached. So like even if you cross the street and get a jaywalking ticket, they've ticketed you and taken the money out your account before you are finished and over the street. Yeah, and it's because they are harvesting data like that. And I am not for these. They have those here. They have the sometimes on the highway they'll say the planes.
Yes.
Overhead are monitoring speed. And then we have speed traps all over. They're predictable. You know where they're going to be. I still don't understand why people decide they're going to slow down. They're always there in the same spots every time on the interstate at the same times. And so they have all
people
these
know where they are, so they'll slow down.
Look, and then you know what else we have that's just as annoying when it comes to traffic? We've got speed tables and speed bumps. There's one street. I can't go down the damn street and just keep going. I gotta hit 7 speed tables.
You know what?
And it's one of the streets that I grew up going down this street, and I have to admit, in the 90s, early 90s, when I was in college, like the mid 90s, I used to fly through. I'm one of the people. I'm the reason why they have those speed tables on that street. Okay.
Well, in the neighborhood I'm in, there's a long street, but it has 2 stop signs before you get to the main street, and they have now just put. There must be about 8 of those speed bumps. I'm going. Interesting.
And look, the funny thing is that I see the sign that says speed table, speed bump ahead. And even still, I see it. I do not slow down. I still hit them hard. And my daughter's like, you just saw that. You just said, oh God, here's the speed bump. And then you still proceeded to go over it at the normal speed. I'm like, I know, it's just it's muscle memory. I am used to when I go down that street.
Wow. Yeah, okay. We got that. All right. So we've got some other people that have jumped in.
Jen is in the house.
And Myers, number 1 in the house. Now, there's a question here, and I don't know if you want to answer it now, after the break, or at the end.
Let's do it now because I think we'll forget.
Okay. So do you want to do it? Let's do a break and then answer, and we can I don't know, should we do it before the break?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it before the break. So Life of Tor says, first of all, love your all's vibes. Just wanted to ask, what's the vision for this stream, the next 5-year goal? Super curious. Good question.
It's a good, it's just the fact that you asked that is on this day is interesting because I was going to remind Dr. Vibe. It was 8 years ago today.
There,
8 years ago.
this is really funny, but continue what you're saying.
8 years ago that Dr. Vibe and I had our first conversation about an
Oh,
article I wrote.
really?
We had it in 2017.
Really? 8?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez. So now this is ironic because there is a business associate that we met. Well, we chatted yesterday and they went, happy anniversary. I go, what do you mean happy anniversary? Because it was 6 years ago that we met. I had no idea. The thing is, I actually had it in my phone when we met and where we met, and she was right on.
Wow.
So 6 and 8 year anniversary. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Aisha, it's been a great ride, and I know the best is yet to come. Thank
I know.
you.
And we've been through so many different versions. This is back when we were just
Oh, wow.
audio.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, Dr. Vibe, it was only supposed to be a one-time interview. And he said, you want to come back? He said, you can come back every week if you want. And that's how it started. And then we brought Jill on, and then we brought LaLa on. So it's been it's not any pressure. It's been
it's
been a constant growth thing for us. And what's so funny is that I think it's so hard for us to even think of a 5-year goal, because when we're not doing this, we're really out there trying to fight the mess.
And I think that's what our vision is. I mean, we do talk about what's going on. We bring the truth that's not whitewashed in the world, and we also do try to encourage solutions for people where they are and point them in the right direction. And take a little bit of the pressure off people who don't have the time to read all 250 pages of a bill that may come out, or Project 2025, where we take that time to do that. And to share with you so that you also can know, in all honesty, which directions you need to move in.
Yeah. And I think the other part too for us is right now we're at a point where we want to get past some of this junk. And it is really hard to see the horizon when you're trying to inspire people to not get over it, but to kind of glide over the mess and focus on the true things that matter. And so we spend a lot of time doing a lot of research too. So I think that our plan moving forward is to just keep getting better, just keep speaking the truth, because right now in this moment, that really is the only thing that I think that we can promise people who come to this show. Each and every time, you're going to get this truth, straight, no chaser. We're going to tell you how we see it. And the truth is, we're going to keep being right, because we almost always are. We said all this was going to happen.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
Blink, 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 blink.
Yeah, and people there were in Life Tour. I don't know how long you've been watching, but when we did,
this is the first time
when we did our Project 2025 show last year before the election, we had people angry in the comments saying we didn't know. I mean, to the point that they were physically attacking our physical appearance. So here we are in the find out period.
Wow. And
I'll have to quote my daughter, right? I'm right. I'm always right. Even when I'm wrong, I'm right. And don't you forget it.
Excuse me. Two of you. Bam. So Life of Tour says no pressure. No pressure. I think it's an amazing question because also I'm getting, the Dr. Vibe show on YouTube is getting close to 2,000 subscribers. So
wow.
So it's a very funny thing, and I feel like I'm actually evolving to another level in regards to content creation. So it's a really good question at a really good time. Let me see. Jen Meyer says, I remember the audio only. Yes, Jen's been around. She remembers that. And Life of Tour says, yeah, wow, 8 years. Yep. Says much respect. Yes. And love from Finland.
Wow.
Ellen, I
Oh my
love
gosh.
it.
We love our international audience because we
Yes.
do have one, and
Well-
we love when you guys join the conversation and join the chat.
So Life of Tor, you're just adding the international. And a lot of people may not know this. Well, LaLa and Aisha are in America, and I'm in Canada. So it's before when we push on the live button, we're already international.
Right.
So you've added to the international flavor, but Life of Tor said just dropped into your stream today. And
Nice.
I see, and he and Life of Tor is watching from his this.
Ah,
It tells me when people are watching from a, a vertical device. So
nice.
there we go.
Nice.
So that is we could go on forever for this, but the only thing I could add on to your question, Life of Tor, is I just want to elevate the ladies and whoever comes on the platform as much as possible. It has been an honest joy. This is the longest running show I've ever done, and it will continue to be until they say we done. It's an absolute joy to see how this show has continued to evolve. The only other thing I would say is just to get Life of Tor. First thing I'd say, subscribe, hit the notification button, and tell other people about it. I like to increase its reach because there's not too many shows. I don't use the word podcast. Not too many online shows that is continuous, that gives thoughts from a Black women's from America lens on a consistent basis. I'm saying consistent basis. And it's funny, periodically when I'm out, people say, man, Dr. Vibe, one thing we have to say about you, you're consistent. Well, these ladies are consistent.
You know, we've been having these conversations before people were really doing podcasting.
Yeah.
And before all these shows, you do see a lot of shows of Black women doing their things, but honestly, they really have, a lot of them have just started. We started having these conversations on the audio when people were still blogging.
Right. So want to shout out Lexi White on Facebook and Soraya.
Yes. Hi, Lexi. That's my partner from Denver. She also is into real estate. Thank you so much, Lexi.
There you go. So that great question. Keep on asking us the questions. And we I'll put it this way, Life of Tor, doing this show is a get to, not a got to. That's what I'll put at it.
And it's nice to have an international perspective, because I we get Dr. Vibe's perspective from Canada, but I'd like to hear what you know, how you see too, what we're going through, because we only see it from being in it. I want to know how you guys see it from you're all are way over there.
Yeah.
And keep that over there.
Off the pond.
So there you go. Life of Tor is already subscribed. I just love your vibes.
Yes.
I'm 37 years old. Well, make sure you get your perspectives on. And Soraya says, hi, guys.
Hi, Soraya. Thanks for joining. This is my real estate partner in Long Beach, California.
Oh, nice.
There you go. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a break, but this has been quite a great start already. So we're going to take a quick 15-second break. And then when we come back, we'll do some housework. And then, oh boy. So we started with positive energy. We're going to do our best as possible to keep the positive energy, but who knows? So we'll be back in 15.
Had your wife, had your kids? Oh, God.
Here we go.
Check out The Morning Vibe on Mondays and Fridays at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube channel with Dr. Vibe and Ryan Knight, where they discuss important subjects between themselves or have conversations with people who you need to know about.
All right, make sure you check it out, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, Monday and Friday mornings, myself and Ryan O'Neill Knight, and we are going to work to get Miss LaLa on in the near future also, because she has a lot of wonderful stuff to offer in regards to content. So let's do it. It's back, Girlfriends Chat. Yeah. It's back with Aisha, LaLa, and Jill Jones. There's the Patreon address. There's the Substack address. And
please sign up for the Substack, because I can't post our videos the way I want to until we have a certain number of people, because we don't a certain number of subscribers, because we don't we record and we don't live stream. So
yeah, and I'm so well, gotta say thanks to Tanya Smith. Long time ago, she had told me that you could stream live on Substack. And when I did it back when I didn't need to have a subscriber count. I just was able to, within the same day it happened. But now obviously but you know what? Still a lot of people aren't doing it. And it's a missed opportunity, I think, for a number of people.
Yeah, I do too.
You know, so definitely subscribe. The store, there's a store link. Join our Discord group. Email me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com, at the drvibeshow, or click on that link. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show and hit the notification button. Like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. Also, ladies, I've reached out in the past. If you want to do collabs on these, so this gets shared on your platform on YouTube, let's chat about it. We'll chat about it offline, because I know Dr. Tachi has done it and a few other people, so we can spread the reach out and grow each other's platform.
I actually play right straight from you can do it right from here.
No, but I'm saying post share it. You can't go. So when this broadcast is finished, what I can do is send you a link, and then it automatically goes on your YouTube platform. So
I didn't know you could do that. That's nice.
It was something just new that YouTube released. I'm keeping up on these updates sort of things, so we can grow both our audiences at the same time. To advertise your business, product, or service, please email me dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And cannot forget Dr. Tachi, Indie Soup. Dr. Tachi, most people know her by Indie Soup TV, independent content creators platform, about 25 to 30 independent content creators. Me is one of them. And that YouTube site has over 28,000 subscribers and about 20 months of operation. So you'll see this content and edited there too. And also, this is for the Reginas of the world. If you got a question or a thing on whatever device, go to callme.ro.com, use the code FSPL8L. Once you go there, you'll go into another screen that will ask you to put in your name. Once you put in your name, you hit the green button, join the conversation. You can comment live. So let's see, before we get some more comments, let's see what's happening here. And wow, we got a number of people in here today. Okay. Soraya, yes. Oh boy is right. So much to unpack this week. In the house, Dr. Tachi says, hello all. Michelle Hayward is in the house. What is
Michelle?
Look at this. So Life of Tor says, sorry, I'm 35-year-old white male from Finland, grew up in Tanzania with adopted sister from Tanzania, living in the Netherlands currently. If you have time, check out my friend called Sati Sal. I will check that out in the shop. So that's great.
Netherlands. I just came from there a few months ago and then really enjoyed ourselves.
Excellent. So nice. And we have amazing music. I think that's probably the 15-second spot, I guess. So, all right.
I know. Look, this is the place. Look, this is the place to mention it. We'll go listen.
Exactly.
We're always on the hunt for new and good music.
All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to introduce our first story, and we're going to do it in a little bit of a different fashion today. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take all of us out, and we're going to have a short little video to give a little background on our first story. So this, and this.
Have you seen the latest Epstein files and wondered why they matter now? Jeffrey Epstein was a convicted sex offender who died by suicide in August 2019. The files are Justice Department and FBI records tied to his investigations, including flight logs, legal agreements, and communications with powerful figures. In September 2025, the House Oversight Committee released over 33,000 pages, but lawmakers say about 97% were already public, with only a sliver of new material like flight logs from 2000 to 2014. A sexually suggestive letter allegedly from Donald Trump to Epstein surfaced in a 2003 birthday album released by Congress. Trump denies writing it and has filed a $10 billion lawsuit over the reporting. Congress is pushing further. A bipartisan bill, the Epstein Files Transparency Act, now has enough signatures to force a House vote. If passed, it would require the DOJ to release all unclassified Epstein-related records, with redactions only for victims' identities or ongoing investigations. For Black communities, this is about accountability and equal justice. Survivors deserve transparency, not political theater. What's next? A House vote, possible Senate action, and whether Trump signs or vetoes the bill. We'll be watching.
Wow.
All right. So we got a little bit of background. I thought we'd add that feature for our wonderful family. So our first conversation piece is 47, Congress and the Epstein files. What happens next? And
Well, we know what happens.
go ahead.
We know what happens next. He's not going. He's going. They gave him the perfect way of saying, "Sure, I'll let the files come out." Look, the House is going to vote on it next week. They have the votes to pass it. It seems like the Senate has the votes too, because the thing is that who really is going to, people who say that they're against outing pedophiles, they're going to have a hard time next year. And you remember, there's a lot of senators up and every member of Congress is up next year. So there's that. But also, too, ideally, if they could have done it, Trump would not veto it. I mean, he would veto it because he doesn't want them out. But what they have done is given him an out by him saying to Pam Bondi, and they did this publicly on purpose, him, blurting out on social media that he wants her to investigate Bill Clinton, JP Morgan, and I forgot who the other person was, right? Who are in the Epstein files. This way, when those bills pass and it comes to his desk, he can sign it and Pam Bondi can say, hold up, can't do it because part of an active investigation.
This is illegal, period. The whole thing is illegal. But what's not illegal underneath Trump? This is political targeting. This is illegal. But what has he not done that isn't illegal, that have been allowed? Listen, this whole thing has been dragging on way too long. And he has all of his cronies stepped up to help him. You have to remember that this wasn't just done like strategically. This actually, they thought that this really was going to go away. Congress really should have stepped forward when these documents came to light, but instead, Mike Johnson, little Mike Johnson, let me do pick me. He delayed the swearing in of Adelda Gravaldi, and because of her she was the one who was going to sign that last release for these documents. So what did he do? He shut down the government. They all started the propaganda of it's the Democrats' fault. It's the Democrats' fault. And then he hit the emergency button on like just backing down on everything. Then, then they had to move things on to the Senate. And then things went on in the Senate. And the fact that to get this out, we had Dems go over to the this whole thing, it reeks of and you know what? It's funny because I was talking to my husband this morning because he was like, babe, you really know a lot about this stuff. And I thought to myself, never in my life would I thought I would have known so much about what's going on. But all I could do to explain to him in short of it, this is our modern day Watergate.
Yeah.
But it's 40 times worse.
Yeah.
Now, listen, here's another thing that you have to really tap into. People who have been starch Trump supporters, such as Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene,
Okay.
Go on. They have been pretty firm on wanting these things out. Now, Boebert was always kind of like on the fence, but MTG has been on from the very beginning. Like we always say, a broke clock is always right twice. But they actually were part of this decision to discharge the petition. So they're actually saying there's no more hiding. If you're so innocent, you need to bring it to the floor. And that's when Trump started shaking in his boots. And that's when Trump started hiding out in the White House. Do y'all know he's there playing? He's like blasting the Phantom of the Opera right now, and not coming out. Like he's holed himself in there. He called Boebert to the situation room.
A situation room, just so you understand, it's also what they call a skiff. Okay. It's a secured place. No phones, nothing in there. They basically wanted to strip search you before you go in there. If they could have you go in there naked, they would. That is how secretive that was. This doesn't render that kind of conversation. And LaLa, oh my God, you are so right. Here's the thing. Mike Johnson didn't have to prevent Grijalva from being sworn in either. Because remember, he's the speaker. This was just a petition to call a vote on whether they should open the files. Okay. It's not a petition to open the files. It's a petition to call a vote. And he is the speaker. The speaker decides what gets voted on. Right. And when to call things to the floor. He didn't need to stop Congress from working. He could have just kept kicking that bill down that can down the road, the way that he's done a whole lot of other things. Honestly, until the White House figured out how they were going to try and get out of it, right?
And it's failing miserably, because you see, you've released enough that now even the people who are part of your cult, a lot of your cult, are like, wait a minute, this is worse. And everybody who has read all of them, I have not, because as many people already know, I am a sexual abuse survivor. So therefore, I can't sit down and read all of these things that were said. But you have things like Epstein saying that he has met so many bad people in his life, and one of the absolute worst and evil is Trump. This was his words, and then you have this, and even then Marjorie Taylor was still trying to, like, well, look Trump, look, Clinton's in there, Hillary's in there, but Trump did not want her to do that at all. So listen, she refused to play ball with him, and because she wants full transparency, he has turned on her instantly.
Yes, he did.
He's pulled her support. He has distanced himself from her, and that was a loyalty test, and she failed to him. But she literally is saying, I can't do this.
It's
what?
Go ahead.
She's speaking like a survivor. I'm just gonna say that as someone who is. But
that's an interesting point. That's a very interesting point.
Yeah. Because I've been trying to figure out, why is she so hard? Why is this hitting her in a way that nothing else has hit her before? Yeah. And I have to think, and why it hit her in a way that's different than Nancy Mace. Because even though Nancy Mace is there, she's not as vocal as Marjorie is. And so I had to take a step back from who she was to say, wait a second, what is behind that? But what you said is true. If you want to know how bad the Epstein files are, I suggest you go and watch this. There's the Surviving Jeffrey Epstein series on that Lifetime did after they did the first installment of Surviving R. Kelly. But if you want to really know, because I watched both, but if you want to really know how bad those files likely are, you need to watch Surviving R. Kelly, the second installment.
But listen, guys,
and the reason I say that is, but listen, the reason I say that, no, but the reason I say that is because I don't think, put it this way, in that Surviving R. Kelly series, the second installment, they talk about him making these women that he was trafficking in, abusing, eating his feces and drinking his urine. That's how bad those files and likely are, and worse, because what these women have shared so far is horrific. I know it was worse than that, because there are some memories that they probably don't want to talk about and go in that deep. And I also am I'm thinking about that, but also too, this whole thing about, well, if you don't, if you're supporting this, no, the evil person is the person who can in any way think that it's okay. I mean, here's the thing. Donald Trump is fighting harder to stop the release of these files than he is to try and figure out why there were 2 assassination attempts on his life.
Exactly.
Right. If we're supposed to believe they're real, okay, he's fighting harder on that. Look, he done forgot about Charlie Kirk. Where's the investigation? I mean, that case is still pending, isn't it?
No, baby, they done buried that.
They literally and figuratively. Okay, so it's like, and the fact that what he's doing right now, LaLa described him out there in the White House, blasting Phantom of the Opera. You know who's been speaking a lot this week and getting a lot of sit down time with different people in media and being able to try and show he's not a robot but human and he's just the worst human possible? JD Vance.
Sure has.
This thing, JD Vance is making his list. He's checking it twice. And this thing tonight is on that list because this there's a degree of insanity here about
a degree. What about degrees?
Yes, many degrees, but there's a degree of insanity here on this, in that you can't help but to know that he knows what he did. This is why
Yes, he knows what he did.
Because he knows what he did. He knows what he did. And the thing is that he knows what he did is so, because here's the thing, if you were just there, if you didn't do anything or whatever, I'd be like, fine. Yeah, of course. Like you said, we were friends for this long. Go ahead. Of course he's going to talk about me. We were friends for this long. But it's there's a degree of evil in this, that is a thread of evil in it that is just so sick. Because the thing of it is, he doesn't want people to know that what they said about him all along was true.
Listen, I have to. No, go ahead.
I'm going to do comments because there's been. What the heck is? Okay, there we go. All right, let's do this. All right, let's just catch up on some comments here. So, Soraya says, "Who knew she had a conscience? Perhaps God is convicting her." And then Regina says, "I am a survivor too. I agree with Aisha. MTG is one of us, despite her other Looney Tune positions are." Regina says, Pam Bondi, I think it was in April, was talking about the porno videos and the evidence trove. Right. Remember when Stacey Williams said Epstein, when she dated him, said he secretly videoed her undressing? Soraya says, many degrees. And also good to see you here. Norman, a stalwart, part of the foundation of Black community radio in the Toronto area. Always good to have you here. For me, when I saw that Boebert was being called into the Situation Room, I go,
baby, and she marched right back out of there and said, release the files.
Yeah. And then she shared that they called her into the situation, because guess what? That's not normal.
No, it isn't. It is not normal.
And here's the thing I do want to say, because I mentioned this and I said I wanted to talk about this. That is not normal. And anyone who is thinking at this point that there's a normal to go back to when this is over has lost the plot. There is no normal to go back to. And there just isn't. And I have a feeling that a lot of, because I see this on social media from a lot of people that are so-called resistors, like, oh my God, I can't wait till we go back to. Basically what it sounds to me like you're saying is that you're ready to give up the fight. You're just tired of fighting. It is this what Trump has unleashed here is the toothpaste out of the tube. America's the old America that you want to go back to, the normal is the tube. It's not going back. So we have to make another vessel for it, which means we have to think about how we're going to rebuild, because we are going to be in a second period of reconstruction. after this is over with. Because remember, in Reconstruction, that's when all the HBCUs and everything were founded as normal schools. Well, look what he did to some of the most um, most highly prestigious colleges in this country. They're going to have to start, their reputations are shot. They're going to have to start building up again, right? So we are in this space where there isn't a normal to return to. And the more that we see this thing with these files and in the midst of the files, you know, you have all this other stuff going down. And what is he doing? He's having these grand balls. He's lavishing in gold. He's
1920s
redoing
party.
he's redoing the bathroom in the Lincoln bedroom and telling people that, hey, you know what? Love me because prices are affordable. Don't think about the Epstein files because the prices of eggs have gone down. When you tell people that, they're like, wait a second, no, the price of eggs have gone up. So I'm going to look at these files. You lied about that. Let me look at these files here. He is literally sending, the more he resists, he's sending people to go find the information.
But that's going to be his downfall. I mean, it's already crumbling, but we already knew that this was going to happen. Aisha and I always say, and I'm still going to stop. I'm going to keep saying it because I know so many people thought we were being conspiracy theorists, and I'm just going to keep on saying, we told you. We told you exactly this was going to happen. And the thing is, now people are questioning. People are like, well, why aren't y'all doing anything? Why will you need to do anything?
We did a whole lot last year. But not only that, but not only that, you know what else is odd to me is that it's not just that we said this was going to happen and we told people this was going to happen. The other part of it is that we talked earlier about the ways in which the country was going to be just harmed. And the ways in which permanent institutions that we thought were permanent were going to be broken. But the other thing we talked about, and I want to make this point very clear because LaLa and I both said it about a year or two ago. We said that MAGA's time was going to be limited. We did not know how long, but remember, it's going to morph into something else post-Trump. But MAGA is up because remember, the Tea Party went hard and strong up until 2015. Remember, they were going from 2008 up to their 7-year period. And here we are with Trump almost, at a 10-year period. So MAGA's done. MAGA's done. It's going to morph into something else. And I'm more afraid of what that looks like because behind it are oligarchs.
Because you still have to think about this. Okay, so we're talking about how he is losing a lot of his base, and then we're going to get into that later. However, you still have the ones that are still a part of the cult. You really need to be paying attention to what people are saying. You have things like Megyn Kelly, who has jumped on this bandwagon thing.
And they're calling her Megyn R. Kelly.
And is saying that this isn't bad because she sees a 15-year-old different than an 8-year-old. They're trying to justify ages now. The reason that they're doing that, you can guarantee there is something in there with the big orange shit and a 15-year-old girl. They're trying to justify this. Even Epstein said in the files, do you know I have photos of him in the kitchen with young girls in bikinis? You know I have that, right? Epstein said, I'm the only one who can bring him down. But I want to say something here that I want you guys to understand because we get so tied in to this and we know that we're living in this political corruption. But I want you to understand something. I want you to take a step back. Epstein was not a Democrat. Epstein was not a Republican. Epstein was not an independent. Epstein was a straight up for himself power hungry informant for anybody who had the highest price. And he knew how to get things on everyone so he could pull the strings. The whole time that Trump was saying he didn't know anything about Epstein, Epstein was in the White House. Epstein was spending Thanksgiving with him. Epstein was also over in Russia giving Putin information. So you have to understand this part here. The Epstein role himself was not a Democrat or a Republican. It was all about evil and what he could do. And then you need to roll in the fact that Giselle was also a part of this conglomerate with her background with her father. So listen, don't be getting all conflustered with, oh, Epstein, the GO, he's got all this on the GOP. No, baby. He has information on anyone and everyone who had a kink and could come to him for it. It was planned that way. So don't be surprised when they do release everything else, who all is in there.
Yeah. I mean,
okay, go ahead.
I mean, if we've ever been wondering what Putin had on Trump, we know. We now know it's really, really bad. But I want to go back to the thing that you said, LaLa, about Megyn Kelly, because I think that it can't go without saying the normalization of it. Let me tell you something. When she said that, they're calling her Megyn R. Kelly now, right?
Yeah.
And they're doing it for a reason, because there was what she said was so loaded in so many ways. I don't know if you all know. Some of you might know. I've been working on this long form article that should have been done, like, it should have been done back in July when they first started talking about this. Epstein and MAGA was starting to wake up a bit. But it was it's about basically MAGA having its R. Kelly moment. The same way the Black community was like, what? And it took a while for the waking up to happen, almost 30 years for this man to be arrested. And I'm like, there is a link here between those two.
30 years.
Right.
I didn't realize 30 years.
Yeah. There's a link between R. Kelly and Donald Trump, because he was living in Trump Tower when he got arrested. I'm just going to say that first. But as I was looking through this and hearing what Megyn Kelly said, I'm like, they're calling her Megyn R. Kelly, but who was 15 when an adult married her? Aaliyah. And she was the one that
magic number of 15.
Right, exactly. And she was the one that got blackballed. And so I remember how people treated her, because we saw her at a concert, me and my sisters, and people were booing her behind this stuff. The girl was 15. Okay. And so look at this now, right? They're trying to normalize the age of 15 and 16, because you know what else happened to come out too this week? The woman, she's now a woman, but she was a teenage girl who had sex with Matt Gaetz.
Yep.
Okay. So they're trying to normalize this age of 15 to 17, because there are a lot of people, not just in those files. There are a lot of people in government. There are a lot of those pastors out there, because every time you turn around, there's a MAGA pastor, supporter of Donald Trump, getting arrested for sexually assaulting a 14-year-old, a 13-year-old, 12-year-old, 15-year-old. And what state is it? Isn't it?
Boy.
Yep. And isn't it Arkansas where they lowered the age of marriage? Yes. And Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who used to work for Donald Trump. So this whole thing is about normalizing this before the files come out, because here's the thing: Trump knows either he's going to release them, they're going to be released under his tutelage, or his vice president will probably release them if he decides he's running for president.
Oh, baby, he's already got that planned.
Exactly. And so somebody
and lining up his next wife.
Right. And here's how Trump knows somebody's going to release this. Okay. He knows it's going to come out somehow. And the thing that hurts him more than anything is that they can't stop the Epstein estate from giving things to Congress. The reason we have all these emails and stuff now, I want to be very clear, is not because it's anything that the DOJ released. It's because Ro Khanna and Massey got an idea from Lawrence O'Donnell's show and subpoena the Epstein estate for the same things that they turned over to the federal
And we're
government.
happy to do it.
And we're happy because guess what? It was the lawyer for one of the women who said, if Congress subpoenas the Epstein estate, they have indicated to us that they are willing to comply with the subpoena.
That's how all that got started.
And they're complying. They're delivering in batches because it's that much stuff. They dropped 20,000 emails one day.
I had people some of my favorite, content creators who are really into this, who I trust, couldn't even go to sleep with how many files and stuff was released that day. I mean, and each time they came on to report on another email, you could see their blood draining out of their face.
Yeah.
Literally, they were like, this is bad.
I had to stop. I'm not gonna lie. I had to stop about maybe 18 pages in.
All right. If I have your permission to interrupt and want to catch up on some comments, if I have your permission to do so. All right. Because there's a number of the family is in. Dr. Chachi says there was never a normal. There was. And Regina says, Buttigieg said it best. We can't return. We have to go forward, admit the problems, and start cleaning up the mess we have been ignoring. It won't happen quickly either. Life of Tor says, we are all connected. Your politics is connected to every corner of the world. Would be a shame not to explore root causes of our societal issues worldwide.
Yeah.
Regina says, anybody knows Peter Thiel's name was mentioned in Epstein's email inviting him to the Caribbean?
Baby. And he's running. Y'all, the reporters was coming. My man was running. Okay.
But
most of these people have had to move on to military bases, guys. Did y'all realize that?
Yeah. But
they had to move out of their houses.
But the Peter Thiel thing is that's the only string that they have to keep JD Vance in line. For now. When the stuff about Peter Thiel comes out, JD Vance is going to cut ties quick.
Soraya says that's why Epstein she believes was killed. Dr. Tachi says absolutely correct. Life of Tor says, anyway, keep doing you. Your love energy, and this energy has potential to touch the world. Thank you so much. Dr. Tachi says hello to Regina, which is the president of Dr. Tachi's fan club. And then, so I'm just asking people, because we're broadcasting on landscape and portrait. Do you like the option of having to watch it, landscape or portrait? Just wanted to know. Life of Tor says, love you guys. And Ava Reed says, I was getting ready to mention Lawrence O'Donnell. Well, Aisha's a big fan of Lawrence O'Donnell. So Ava, whatever you want to say about Lawrence O'Donnell, put it in the comments. I want to ask ladies something here. Do you realize probably the only person that's benefited from this? Who's the only person that's probably really benefited from this scandal?
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Bingo.
There you go.
She's getting puppies in prison.
And here's the lady that said, oh, he never did this, and then the emails.
Right. Oh, and then but wait.
This week of her sitting in the jail cell with Donald Trump. She said, you were supposed to get me out of here.
Yeah. Well, here's the other part of it. The whistleblower. Now Republicans are trying to, the whistleblower got fired and now they're trying to do this. But the whistleblower from the jail sent information to Jamie Raskin, Democratic Representative Jamie Raskin from Maryland, saying that she said, basically, I'm tired of being her. That was the language that he said he was using. She's getting special services, more than just yoga. She's getting her dinner made, especially for her, and served to her in her room. They're giving her a puppy, an emotional support puppy. I mean, there's that. And on top of all of that, right, the lawyer that went and talked to her lawyer, her communications aren't private. She's doing the petition for the pardon, or the having her sentence commuted, because I guess they must have decided a pardon might be too far. but he might commute her sentence.
Wow. Some more comments here. Regina has claimed that she is the president of the Dr. Tachi fan club. And Regina says about Ghislaine Maxwell, she has perjured herself with
Yes.
the emails released. And Dr.
Right.
Tachi sends love back to Regina. So
But
this
perjuring
week,
herself, who's going to send it back? I mean, who's going to take care of that? Who's going to do that?
Right.
so this week, there's going to be a vote in regards to releasing more. What do you feel is going to be the outcome of the vote? Are the
I think
Republicans?
It's going to come out because people are
Mhm.
going to end up committing political suicide if they don't let these out. People are tired.
But I think there are conversations going on right now. There might be the Phantom of the Opera playing outside the White House, but there are conversations going on, probably in the Situation Room with Mike Johnson, to try and convince him to say, "Oh, we're not going to bring this to a vote because the documents. I mean, because there's ongoing investigation." I just have a feeling that it's not going to go to. I just have a feeling it's not going to go to a vote. And at that point, somebody's really going to have to urge the Senate to take it up, because here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. The House, they can subpoena these things and look into these things. Remember, the House is really the purse. The Senate's supposed to be the conscience.
Wow.
Of the legislative branch, because they deal with the legal aspects of it, the nuts and bolts of the law. I mean, they really need to then take it up and say, hey, then we'll do this here, and then we'll kick it back to the House, or we'll do this, or guess what? They can do that there and do their own investigation, their own request, but there's not going to be a way for it to at least get to Trump's desk. I think unless Mike Johnson decides to not bring it up, and the Senate is going to have to, because the pressure on them. Because remember, each state has 2 senators. They represent statewide. So the people in Congress, they might call their individual congressperson, they only represent about 750,000 to 800,000 people. The senators represent everybody in that state.
I say either way that it goes.
So the pause, they're not going
to
get
understand that this cat has been let out the bag. There's been enough where people have seen the atrociousness of this, the God evil of just simple statements sometimes, that it's not going to be easy for anyone in Congress or in the Senate to ignore this. That is going to be political suicide.
Right.
Because now the people are speaking. If y'all thought the No King's Day thing was something, I'm gonna bet y'all it's gonna be triple what that was if they come out and they don't release these files. And there will be a way, even if they don't release these files through Congress or Senate, baby, somebody get ready to leak all that stuff out. You can guarantee that.
Maybe Rupert Murdoch.
Could be.
You got to remember that a majority of when you look at these polls, look specifically when they talk about Republican voters. The majority of Republican voters now think that he has something to hide.
Yes. This didn't play out well for him. And the fact that he continues to come out and insult his base, he literally called them stupid. You are stupid, and you are not worth my time if you continue to talk about these Epstein files. Baby, what's the quickest way to turn somebody into an enemy? Calling them stupid when they've completely supported you. Now, listen, I'm telling you right now, Marjorie Taylor Greene is probably sitting in her stupor like, what the hell is going on with myself? Because she knows what she's going up to. The email the tweet that she released today, y'all, was bold. It was bold. She literally said, the most powerful man in the world is after me, and I will not stand down. So y'all don't think that's serious? That's serious.
But here's the other thing too. I've been processing this Marjorie Taylor Greene thing, and the thing I said about her likely being a survivor herself, I believe it's true even more so, because you have to remember the thing that we've always been saying, what does Donald Trump have on these politicians? He knows
Exactly.
he knows their secrets. He knows what buttons this is hitting with her. And he knows why she's doing it. He knows why she's
I
doing
think
it.
he's
And,
also
and
underestimating her.
well, not only that, LaLa, but he knows that about her. And therefore, he is most afraid of her right now, because if she is kind of out there this way, it means that see, here's the thing. You know what Donald Trump doesn't do? Doesn't surround himself with a lot? Women who've been sexually assaulted. Because guess what, right? But let me say, because here's the thing, they know he is, but also too, even if there's no definitive proof out there, they can go around him. You can go around him. You feel it. You sense it. I can't describe what it's like, but it feels like the hair on the back of your neck stands up when you're a survivor and you feel like you're in the presence of a pedophile, a molester, an abuser. You sense it, because they have a creepy way about them. And she was able to overlook that until he started, no, I don't want this. And it's kind of like, wait a second. But why? That's creepy to her. Think about it. And you got to remember, as nasty and ugly as she is, she got into QAnon behind Pizzagate and the pedophile ring at the pizza restaurant.
Okay, if I have your permission to interrupt.
Yeah.
And so many ladies fired today. Okay, Ava Reed says, I love that the show had the people on that got the files released from the estate. Regina says, love it. Probably love back to Dr. Tachi is the fan club. Way 405 says, you three. Dr. Tachi goes, conscious? Sheesh.
Jeez.
Supposed to be.
Regina says, I suspect 47 will do regular veto can be overridden by 2/3 in
Right.
both House and the Senate, while pocket veto cannot be overridden and requires the bill to be passed again.
Right.
Way 405 says LaLa, and Aisha says thumbs up. Regina says, we'll do a pocket veto. Sorry. Dr. Chachi says, well, his base is stupid. He said this over and over and over. They're just now starting to listen.
Yeah.
Ava says,
When you get to Ava's next comment, you mind if I say something after that?
okay. So it says it will be political suicide if they don't vote. So go ahead, Aisha.
Janice. I know you're not going to show the comment, Dr. Tachi, but
No, I'm not going to.
I don't understand why people hate watch. This is your life. Why you only have one? You are going to waste your time hate watching? Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
Shoot.
girl, no, you
All
can go away. I mean, you can sit and watch. You're only building up our numbers, and we love it. But I don't understand the point, because guess what? I don't go to you all's platforms and sit and hate watch. The obsession is always coming from the right, and the obsession with Black people, Black women
Yeah,
that
that's
you have
amazing.
is highly pathetic. What you need to do is go talk to your own people, because it's your own people who are doing you in, who are stopping you from getting things, who are stopping you from becoming the person that you want to be, but probably not the person that you should be, which is a better one. So I'm done. I just need to say that.
Regina says, meaning he will put off this matter as long as possible. Way says, oh, DJT's gonna feel it. Margie was a bandwagon hillbilly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ava says, shouts out to Laura LaLa Key. Shouts out. Way says Margie will have a whole tribe come against DJT. And Ava says, LaLa knows I'm trying to send stars. There you go. I was trying to send stars.
Thank you, Ava. The system has been crazy on Facebook. You know, I'm surprised they even letting you see it right now.
All right. And Dr. Tachi says, this is so true. You never find us hate watching and then making outrageous statements on any right-wing stuff, because we're actually people of worth. We don't have time for that. Okay. LaLa says, thank you, Ava. And then Way says, funny part is the DJT comes from the hillbilly tribe. Ouch.
You know what's so funny? Look, he comes from the British Hill. Because remember, God know his mom wasn't British royalty. She's from them slums. But but the other thing about Marjorie Taylor Greene is I think he underestimates I think he's underestimating the impact she's going to have on Georgia. And I think this woman, she actually is willing to lose her seat because here's the other, because he's only making her stronger, because here's the other part that he's missing. She's also talking about the cost of food, the cost of healthcare, while she's saying, yeah, release the files. And the thing is that he is not. He is saying, enough with you people. I'm tired of you complaining that you can't afford things. Stop talking about affordability. Stop talking about affordability and stop talking about those files.
And he's literally saying it like that.
And he's literally saying that. And so,
on Truth Social.
Not even on Truth Social. In an interview, stop talking about affordability. We're not talking about affordability anymore. It's like, whoa. I mean, right. So people, here's the thing. People might not know what's in those files. That might be curiosity, but they know what they pay for things. Well, they know what money is going in and what's going out and what they can and cannot afford.
He did roll back on some of the tariffs on some of the items coming in, but you see, and I think what's interesting, Alexa Way says DGT's mom was Scottish. Ava says, we're so dumb we don't know what we're spending. Please.
Right. Let me tell you something. There's a shortage of turkeys.
All right. And this
it's almost Thanksgiving. There's a shortage of turkeys.
It's interesting, and this goes back to a comment I heard a long while back that Scott Galloway said. The two most powerful men in the world, first one is the president of the United States. The second one is a dead man.
Yeah.
Right? So
I can't disagree.
And this has not let go. And how much stuff how much stuff can the administration put out there to try to deflect? Once, if the vote goes through next week, wow.
But here's the problem, right? And I think this is what he's a dummy. And I think the fact of the matter is they have to stop feeding him just the things he wants to hear, because he's not holding his rally. So his ear isn't to the people anymore. And what he doesn't realize is that people have sat and watched you give 11 million excuses that were different. First it was, oh, well, the files are on my desk. Oh, yeah, there's nothing to see here. Oh, it's a hoax. None of this is real. It's a hoax. Oh, but Bill Clinton's in the file.
Wait. Make you mad up, bro.
Yeah, pick a struggle. Pick one.
Well, I think what the administration, they're just throwing as much stuff out there. Now, I heard a very interesting speculation piece. Let me just do this. Regina says his proof, 2025 Walmart Thanksgiving basket, even though we all know his shrank from last year. And Way says, give up the Epstein Styles DJT. But I heard a very interesting thing from David Frum, columnist he says, people aren't paying attention, but there is a buildup of American war vessels in the Caribbean.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the other thing.
Don't be surprised.
Yeah, they have been talking about this. Well, they've been talking.
It's another deflection.
No, and the media has been covering this. Depends on who you watch. The thing is, don't be surprised if tomorrow or Monday, maybe even tonight, there are some, and I think it might have happen late tonight because he's on the crazy train with the Phantom of the Opera. So, and when he does stuff like that, he's prone to act irrationally, but they are about to go to Venezuela. They are about to, he's going to start war there. It's just a matter of when. And I have a feeling it will be right before they can. That's why I said, I don't think that they can take a vote. I don't think that they'll come to a vote this week. Something's going to happen for them not to
he's already announced he's made a decision on Venezuela military operations. Military has amassed more than a dozen warships and 15,000 troops in the region. That is now the main topic of the bought out CNN, only because, you know, the Epstein files, they're trying to cover all that up. But we already told you this too. I mean, he's already said it publicly. You know, for one, if he's got war, you ain't got to worry about no vote. That's one. Two, now he's got major influence of this Epstein files being out. So of course he's going to deflect. So this isn't anything new. We're watching the man crumble.
Yeah, but you know what else? You know what else? If I were some of those people in the manosphere, I'd be afraid, because our military is at its lowest in terms of numbers. Pete Hegseth has basically verbally stated he's trying to purge the military of all the women, the gays, and the blacks.
Okay.
And all the other minorities. And so there will be a draft under Donald Trump if we do have military engagement. And guess what? The government is so corrupt, so worthless, so lawless under him. All those people in the manosphere that are coming out, what's his name? Nick Fuentes? Oh, baby, you're getting drafted.
All right. So
Everybody who asked him is getting
says
drafted.
they will not have the soldiers die for a dictator. We'll see. All right. I think we've exhausted this one. Okay.
It's ongoing.
Yeah, it's definitely ongoing. Any final words before we go to another topic? I think we're just going to do one more, and that'll be enough for today. Because the third conversation topic, I think we can talk at a later date. Any more comments we have on this one at this time?
Just pay attention and make sure that you're paying attention to the real thing and not the smoke that is being blown up your butts.
Yep. Stay on wanting them to have the Epstein files released. But know that there is a contingency plan with the estate, and keep your eyes on what's going on in Venezuela, because honestly, if that happens, you remember COVID, the early COVID days, we're going to be like that again.
All right. So we are going to take another quick break. We're only going to do one more conversation topic, because if we did all three of them, we'd be here for a long time. So we are going to take a break, and we're going to show a video to introduce our last topic for today. So we'll be back in just a moment.
Have you ever wondered what happens when the longest U.S. government shutdown in history finally ends? On November 12, 2025, after 43 days of halted services, President Trump signed the funding bill that reopened the federal government. Federal agencies are now funded through January 30, 2026, with full-year budgets for agriculture, Veterans Affairs, and the legislative branch extending through September 2026. More than 650,000 furloughed workers and 600,000 unpaid staff will receive back pay, and layoffs have been paused. SNAP food assistance is being restored. Nearly 42 million Americans should see full benefits within 24 hours, though some states may face delays. Housing services are resuming too. HUD will restart reverse mortgage reviews and lead hazard home repairs. Airports and national parks are reopening, and federal offices are getting back to work. But the fight isn't over. Affordable Care Act subsidies expire December 31st, and while a Senate vote is scheduled for mid-December, there's no guarantee of extension. That means another shutdown could be looming in late January if funding isn't secured.
Okay.
When is it not looming? It's always looming, because they kick the can down the road every damn time instead of trying to fix the thing.
Yeah.
All right. So our next conversation topic: U.S. government shutdown ends. What happens now?
Well, I think Pennsylvania needs to look at replacing one of its senators. He can't even, not have a health crisis in, every year. So I think that's something. I just want to say that part first. But Promise of a vote.
Yeah, promise of a vote. I'm sick to my stomach. Normally we both come out of the gate with things to say, but the way that this all came down was actually a serious gut punch. You have people who were Democrats who are finally standing up and holding the line and doing them what the American people wanted. Now, also don't twist this. We understand that people were suffering under this. People were not getting paid. People were still having to work. Our military, the SNAP, everything was out there. But unfortunately, things had to be done this way in order to get any movement. And what these people did in the Senate undermined it. Everything that was done, that was a hard work where people were coming together to fight for the right accord. And now, because of this, there is going to be serious consequences of it. And the fact that, for one, let me explain to you, part of the deal that got snuck into this was that Republican senators are now able to get a payment, a minimum, not a minimum payment for when they came in to search their phones and look at that. So now that they're going to get paid because their rights were kind of taken away because they had to go and look at their phones to see any emails or anything that was done during the January 6th thing. So you just gave these people free money when people are starving and wanting their benefits out here. Our military is still fighting for us and not getting fed, but you rolled over and let your belly show to the GOP for nothing, for a promise of a vote that will not happen. We already know these people play chess and y'all still playing checkers. And that's exactly what we mean by that. So listen, what they did was absolutely despicable. They need to be voted out and they need to be called out on the carpet for what they did. Because now, even though it's back in there, you have to understand that even though the government's still open and SNAP is supposed to be released and all this stuff, do you realize that this fool has put out that people have to reapply to be on SNAP and EBT? That's his other way around starving people so that they can get denied to be on these programs.
A good thing is that the federal government doesn't run that part, the states do. So the states can basically ignore him on that. But LaLa, the thing for me is that it's not even just the promise of the vote. If you're going to be a member of the federal government, you need to read the bills that you're supposed to vote on before you vote on them. We have way too much of this happening. Like even Marjorie Taylor Greene with that big ugly bill was saying, "Oh, I didn't read everything that was in it." Then why do you have staffers? Isn't that their job?
Listen, we still trying to send 40 billion to Argentina. The Democrats actually put on the table an amendment to divert that money of the 40 billion to Argentina to put toward lowering the premiums for healthcare for Americans, and they rejected it. You think that you really gonna get what they promised you to sign this thing? You already see that they've already proven to you over and over that's not the case. So we're back to Danger Will Robinson, and once we had the momentum, but these 8, you can't trust them. You can't trust them at all.
Yeah, I think they spent the money in the contingency fund, and I think that
I know.
and that some of the Republicans sat with those 8 Democrats and said, "Hey, the money's not there. We got to end this. Money's not there," and that is how that happened. But here's the thing: the government shut down. It's opening back up, and now they're talking about they might not pay people their back pay.
That's right.
You voted for that. At least if you were gonna roll, the one thing, not even a promise of, if you couldn't even get a promise of a vote, the least you should have gotten was, "Hey, and everyone will get their back pay." Because that bonehead from the real world that's over FAA said, oh, anybody who didn't come into work during the shutdown or took off, which remind you, people were taking their sick days and stuff like that. They were exhausting those things, right? But they're taking these days off. Anybody who missed any days during the shutdown is not going to get paid and might lose their job. So here's the thing. You don't know if people were sick or not. We know that some weren't, but guess what? People have to have their money in order to people weren't being able to go to work. They were having to do DoorDash and Uber, right? In order to get money to pay for gas to go to work at the job that wasn't paying them. And they're talking about not paying these air traffic controllers. You want to see planes fall out the sky? You tell those people they're not getting paid for the time that they worked.
So if I can
But
interrupt,
still, yet people got $500,000 for somebody looking at their phone.
Oh, $500 per thing that they looked at. So they can get a max of like 2.5 million. So Lindsey Graham wants $2.5 million and basically wrote in an amendment so he could take 2.5 million of taxpayer dollars. All right. Okay.
Okay, well, he was the first one to rush to apply for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not a joke. He was the first one to apply for it.
So Way 405 says DJT doesn't know what he's doing. He is, quote, bonehead and D, unquote. Let me ask, ladies, did this shutdown accomplish anything for the Democrats?
No.
No, all it did was help. It helped people who needed to be fed. But here's the thing, and I shared this with Jill and LaLa. It was a link to a document that even all they had to do was wait out the 48 hours because Ketanji Brown Jackson wanted them to account for the funding.
Missing money.
They had 48 hours to do so. And if they did not, the funds would have kicked in anyway. And states were already prepared to pay people from contingency funds states had that they have saved in their overages and just pay themselves back when the federal government opened. The only states that did not pay out SNAP on that date, the day after they did that vote, were a lot of the reds. Mississippi, one of the poorest states, did not pay their people. But guess what? All they had to do was wait. Because guess what? A lot of states, by that Friday, when Ketanji Brown Jackson did that Friday, they paid out SNAP, at least part of it. They paid it out. I mean, I forgot what state. I think it was Minnesota did theirs on the 7th.
And refused to send it back when he ordered them to send the money back. And they said no.
Right. And the other thing too is that he was telling them to send the money back. It was their money. It wasn't the federal government's money that they were sending out before the government opened. So I kind of feel like it was pointless because it's like, were you all not paying attention to stuff that was going on and looking at this thing like a chessboard? Oh, all we got to do is wait a day, because if they don't come up with this, then their funds have to be paid out from the federal government regardless. So either states were going to pay it out or the federal government was going to have to, because Ketanji Brown Jackson sent it back to the lower court to have them, hey, nah, you all do the audit.
What role did Chuck Schumer have in all of this?
Whatever.
Chuck Schumer is the minority leader. The caucus, they're saying now that they had conversations they didn't tell him about. But here's the thing. He's the minority leader. Your caucus shouldn't make any moves that you don't know about. And if they are, you need to not be a leader anymore. The one thing we can say for sure about Nancy Pelosi knew everything her caucus was doing. She knew every person's motivation. Here's the thing, Chuck Schumer, you only got to be in charge of what, 48 people, 46 people. Nancy was over 200 plus. How is it that you cannot wrangle 46, 47 people to move in formation? That's a sign of weak leadership.
He's got to go. That's not the only time that we've said that. He's got to go. Schumer has got to go.
Will this be the end of Mr. Schumer, this last straw?
I hope
Well,
so.
there are lots of people already talking about primarying him. So
Yeah.
So Regina
and a whole
said,
bunch of people came out. Look, a whole bunch of people. I gotta say this. They were talking about all the people who are coming out to challenge people, like John Larson, who is a congressman here. Slew of people coming out to challenge. He's been there 30 years. Slew of people coming out to challenge him. They're talking about some of these other people in other places. Slew of people. Hakeem Jeffries. There are a slew of people that are coming out to primary him. And the thing is that the weakness is showing, and people aren't liking it. And this is what democracy is, isn't it? People aren't liking it. And they're saying, you know what? I can do this job. Let me get involved.
so Regina says they won the elections. No party initiating a shutdown either won. Schumer needed to get in front of ending the shutdown with a message. He knew what was going on. Naive to think otherwise. Ava says, I don't think anyone can outdo Nancy. Way says Schumer isn't making an impact. He's just taking up space. Regina says also Schumer isn't up for re-election for another 3 years. He should step down as minority leader, though. And Enlightened Being says we are seeing a massive shift within parties. It ain't pretty.
No, but you know what though? I mean, here's the thing. Nancy Pelosi saw the writing on the wall this week, right?
Oh, she sure didn't she? She said, okay, I'm leaving.
Yep. She's calling it a day.
She's calling it a day, but she should have called it a day a long time ago.
Mm.
I don't discredit her for what she's done in her career. But there is also a time when you are no longer doing the job that is needed for the people. I think you can get in your own way of thinking that you're so important that no one else could ever fill your shoes. And that is a dangerous situation when you get the big head and now you no longer really serve the people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, there are all kinds of recall elections and things that people can do. Remember, he is a federal servant, but how he's voted in, how he's removed from office and all that goes according to state constitutions. And so the people of New York might have a word.
People in New York have already had a word, and I ain't gonna be surprised if they have another word.
Right.
Regina says Chuck Grassley is 92. Oh boy. Oh boy. So ladies, are we gonna go through this again by the end of January of next year?
Of course. Of course. Why wouldn't we? And not only this, here's the thing. The Republicans this time are going to be willing to hold out because might not. Because here's the other thing. If what the signals are right, and Trump does go into Venezuela in the next couple days, weeks, or whatever, they are going to give him power over the purse, which means that everything, will we have first shutdown? No, they'll fund everything at the same level. That is it. They will pass a continuing resolution, and they'll find a way to do it without them having to vote on it. There's something there's a move here for Donald Trump that's very strategic about this whole Venezuela thing, because he really is trying to, if he's able to do this, he will have 100%, he already has 100% unchecked power, but he'll have 100% control over all three branches of government, to the point where we do have a king. He will have control of the purse, and he will have control over SCOTUS, over the judicial branch, and he will rule like a king. And it's all to look, it's all going back to our first conversation, all just so that he doesn't have to have them damn files released.
LaLa, any last thoughts on this topic?
This isn't going to be the end. We're like I said, this is our modern day Watergate times 1,000. Just keep your eye on the prize, people, because once again, and I'm going to say this, I'm just going to continue to say it until maybe it sinks into people's heads. We are the people, and we, the people, are the one that actually has the power. We outnumber them. All right. So you need to understand the power that you have within yourself, and it starts within you. And it also starts within what you're going to do with your communities, because you can't just go and say, we're going to change the world overnight if you don't care even for your neighbor. You too mad at them because their grass is an inch taller than yours. It's time to put that kind of shit away. And it's time to really start seeing that, you know what, we the people are that. We are the great American melting pot. And you need to stop and check yourself before you move into the realm of trying to help other people. It has to be done with the right reason and the right purpose. And we all can do it in our own small way, but this is not going to go away. Unfortunately, baby, we got to walk through this fire.
Yeah.
We have to walk through this fire. Thing, I'm over it. I'm so over everybody talking about that, because you see, even when that happens to those who voted for this, who stood in line for this, it still affects us as well.
Right.
We are still all a part of this. So, you know, yeah, it's fun sometimes to sit back and say, I'm just going to have to sip my tea. You got to pick your battles, but pick what is important to you and continue to make it your banner to move forward, to make the country better.
Yeah. And you know, and I say this to piggyback on what LaLa said about, you know, the find out part. Don't be so quick to give some of these people a prize for these sudden revelations that they're having. And I'm saying that specifically, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, I said this on social media, don't give her a prize just yet. She hasn't made the connection to how the rhetoric she supported got a judge's son killed, Nancy Pelosi's husband attacked, the Obamas with a gunman outside their house, etc. And so I think what she's doing is more or less sending a warning to Trump and his cronies, and that basically that she knows where some of these GOP skeletons are buried, and that she's digging. And you know, she's putting them on their best behavior, but she still hasn't made the connection between her behavior and belief in these things and how people, because basically what she's saying is that, oh, people are being, you know, this is how people get assassinated. She's talking about Charlie Kirk, not the two politicians in Minnesota. Remember, stuff like that. So until she makes that connection, you know, don't give her a Scooby snack.
All right. On that note, we're calling it a show. Some final comments here. Way says you cannot be in politics without the politicians serving. You want the elites, wants to be served. I think serving the elites. Ava says Nancy was going to quit until 47-1. Way says politicians are puppets, y'all. And he says, I'm tackling the elites. Ava says, that's true, Laura. Way says, Aisha, Laura, and my favorite host, Dr. Vibe, with the Canadian flag. Thank you so much. It's all good. Just watch. As always, I want to say thank you to our wonderful, wonderful ladies for taking time out of the most important thing in their lives, their schedules, to hang out with us. We did have another topic, but we've had enough for today. We'll get to that one next week because it's still relevant. But before we let them leave, it's time to say, LaLa, how do we get a hold of you?
You can find me on my website. I make it actually pretty easy. So all you have to do is go to laurakey.net. I have some pretty amazing things there. But one thing that I do want to push, because I'm so proud of it, is my holiday bliss guide that I have there. It walks through all the end of the year holidays. It gives you tips and tricks and budgeting tips. It gives you recipes, leftover recipe ideas for your holidays. So please go and support me by purchasing your holiday bliss guide on my website, laurakey.net. And I love you, cousin Ava.
All right, good stuff. And now it's time for Aisha K. Staggers.
These days I'm mostly on Instagram, my Aisha Case at AK Staggers. You can read my work at Medium at aishakstaggers.medium.com. Blue Sky, akstaggers.bsky.social. That's mostly where I post. Friendomedia.com. I have some pieces there. I haven't done that in a minute. And my Substack actually it's Aisha K. Staggers, but you can also find it under this thing called Life.
Thank you so much. I will change that. All right. So if you want to get a hold of me, real simple, taplink.cc/the.vibeshow.com. Let's see. I think we may have a few more comments. Dr. Tachi says, great show. Ava says, love you guys. And Way again. Yes. Great show again. Thank you so much, everybody. So as always, we ended off like this. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller, get stronger. Block assumptions, aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. And don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history. Try to do both. And as always, make it better. God bless. Peace be well. Keep the faith. Walk good.
To understand how afraid I am of any member of the rodent family. That's down to squirrels and chipmunks. Okay, I cannot stand all members of the rodent family. Rabbits, bunnies, no.
What else is going on that day? I mean, is there something we're supposed to be doing?
Why are you going there? Why are you going there? You know, I'm going to ask you, it falls the same day as the inauguration of the new president.
The what? Excuse me? I'm sorry.
So in other words, Monday.
So onesies. Now, folks, don't ever think you're going to see us all on a show with onesies on. Don't do that.
You might see me. You might see me.
You'll see me and LaLa, because we oftentimes wear ours.